residents of Kangema because they are exposed to health risks other than the imprisonment and fine that may be liable to the county secretary. What happens then to the residents? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Madam CS, before you respond to that, I'll allow one senator again, Senator Esther Kinyuri, so that you cumulatively respond to the two questions. Senator Cherargei, I called you out of the chamber. Senator Esther Kinyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is a further clarification on how deliberate the ministry is to tackle the issue of residential waste management, because the other time I was watching a clip on TikTok where the CEC, Geoffrey Mosiria, was trying to talk to residents in Pipeline Estate who are actually using waste and just dumping it right in front of their households, Mr. Speaker. What can the ministry do deliberately so that it's not just on the part of county governments, but also on the part of the households in those residential areas? Because her responses are quite theoretical, but not in action, because I've cited the case of Pipeline Estate, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable CS, you may respond to those three supplementary questions, then we will progress to the others. Give the CS the microphone, please.
For Senator Muranga, the question regarding licensing on annual and basis and what do we do in the interim, we have asked counties to do an environmental impact assessment. And in the absence of environmental impact assessment, we also, again, issue improvement plans to the counties. As you are well aware, waste management is a devolved function. And so we can only issue the improvement notices and await the impact assessment to see how we can move forward. And for non-compliance, we continue to engage the counties. But as I have said earlier on, we've had multiple interventions. One of them that has recently come in is the EPR, the Extended Producer Responsibility, which again will support us in ensuring that we have the polluter pays principle. This is again the answer to Senator Esther. So when we have the producer paying principle, then we can have resources, and after segregation, we will be ensuring that the recycling occurs, say for instance, the recycling of plastics, among others, and we can be able to improve waste management in that aspect. Additionally, through the EPR, what we intend to do is to support the waste pickers, in terms of creating green jobs or clean jobs, and with working together with the county government, we believe that implementation of extended producer responsibility will support in terms of human resource, who will again support in segregation of waste and ensuring that our environments are clean and we are not exposed to health risks.
Senator Catherine Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Even as I ask the question, Honorable Speaker, allow me to welcome the CS environment to the Senate, but also to bring it to her attention that whereas waste management is a county function, the national government has the responsibility to develop policy, to develop standards, to actually provide technical support, and to ensure that the enforcement of the standards, national standards in this matter. So I am not particularly happy that everything is being thrown to counties, even though it's their responsibility. So what my question is, how active is the Intergovernmental Relations Committee for the environment sector, and what are the issues you've agreed with county governments, and what in particular are you working on, particularly for toxic waste like asbestos roofs? Thank you.
Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you, Speaker. Allow me also to take this opportunity to welcome the Minister for Environment, because the last time she was here, she was the Minister for Health. Welcome to Senate. Mr. Speaker, my question to the Minister is, in 2017, the government banned plastic in this country, both importation and local manufacturing. But still, as we speak, Madam Waziri, you realize that NEMA still gives exemptions, especially to the potting bags in this country that are still being manufactured. The reason we still continue having drainages blocking still is because of the illegal manufacturing of the polythene bags, because still NEMA allows for manufacturing of potting bags or seedling bags in the agricultural sector. What is your plan as the minister in regards to ensuring that Kenya now focuses on the alternative of the biodegradable potting bags in this country, so that we completely eradicate the production and importation of the raw materials for plastic bags in this country? If you continue giving these exemptions, then when will we have the maximum alternative of the plastic bags in this country? I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Moses Kadzwang.
Mr. Speaker, I also welcome the CS to the Senate, and I look forward to further collaboration with her in my other capacity as the chair of the Climate Caucus. Mr. Speaker, Parliament played its role by passing the Sustainable Waste Management Act in 2022. Under the Act, the CS was given certain responsibilities. The Act established a council. Mr. Speaker, I would like to find out from the CS whether this Waste Management Council has been established, whether it is working, and what it has been able to achieve. Under the Sustainable Waste Management Act, the CS was also required to bring regulations to the House and was also required to publish model laws for county governments. I want to find out from the CS which regulations have been brought to Parliament, whether the CS has published the model laws, and how many counties have been able to successfully implement or enact those laws. And finally, Mr. Speaker, waste is gold in certain jurisdictions. When we went to Dubai, we found that they are converting solid waste into energy. We have seen countries where recycling is a big part. The circular economy is huge. Could the CS tell us what the policy position of the government is with regards to conversion of solid waste into energy, and the size of the circular economy in Kenya and the challenges that it faces? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Moses Kadzwang, you noted that you asked more than 2 supplementary questions, and I let you do so intentionally by virtue of your position as the chairman of the Climate Caucus. Otherwise, ordinarily, the standing orders allows you to have only 1 supplementary question. Senator Samson Cherargei.
And I thought, Chair, Speaker, we should amend standing orders to include Climate Caucus as part of our committees. So, Speaker, with your indulgence, I want to also welcome Waziri. I think we were in Kaptagat and she did a good job. she's also sitting next to my voter, so I'll support her naturally because she's sitting next to my voter. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the CS, we have agreed there are many policies on waste management. Our city, Nairobi, Mombasa, Eldoret, Kapsabet, Homa Bay, and all the towns and cities and urban centers are being choked by, including Bomet town, are being choked by waste. Mr. Speaker, the NEMA is seated here, and I hope I've seen the DG. What are they doing about illegal dumping and solid waste management in this country? Because whenever you drive, Mr. Speaker, you see waste all over. In fact, Nairobi is the worst. I think the county government and governor of Nairobi have left the waste to be all over, Mr. Speaker. And even in terms of estate solid waste management, Mr. Speaker, you and me know that you pay for your waste to be taken from your house wherever you live. Of course, I know where you live, Speaker, but I will not say it for the record. But, Mr. Speaker, we have to pay. Yet we have all these policies, Mr. Speaker. What is the ministry doing in fighting against illegal dumping, in solid waste management, Mr. Speaker? Because this solid management, as the chair of climate action has said, it can be turned into gold. So can the CS give us a silver bullet on how to address this issue of illegal dumping and solid waste management, and possibly partner with other partners to ensure we can transform solid into something that we can use for the value of the economy? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Beatrice Akinyi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and for accepting that my head of delegation was able to give more than one question, and I think I will ride on that privilege that he has had as his delegation.
That is a
Honorable Speaker,
of the chairperson, Senator
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I want to start by welcoming the CS, Madam Deborah, who we have worked with before, and in the delegation I also see a former DG of NEMA, Ayub Aiman, I worked with, and an officer was very passionate about environmental issues then. I hope he still is. Madam Honorable Speaker, my question is that how often does the CS engage with the counties as an intergovernmental forum, as was envisaged in the Constitution 2010? Honorable Speaker, I notice a number of these issues are also touching on counties. And if the CS was engaging the counties on this meeting, a number of them would be thrashed. Honorable Speaker, I also wanted to know from the CS if the county environment committees are in place, are working, because NEMA is a member of that, and how staffed are their decentralized offices at the counties? Mr. Speaker, sir, because you only see one or two officers, which is not proportionate to the members that we have and to the service that we want offered. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Manzo.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, to implement what is in C, the long-term waste management and monitoring strategies, I want to ask the CS what budgetary allocation does he have in this financial year to be able to implement all this which is asked in this question, because without a budget, really, it's not possible, Mr. Speaker.
Senator John Kinywa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When I'm here, I'm thrown off balance by the questions that my colleagues are asking in terms of waste management, because in the Waste Management Act 2021, the mandates are given to the county government unless, Mr. Speaker, these functions have been taken back to the national government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Did you ask a question to the CS?
No. It's for the CS to tell me whether maybe these functions have been taken back to the national government.
Very well, thank you. And lastly, Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This matter is so weighty that I wish we had more time to interrogate it, but I believe that at some point we may have to. I wanted to ask the CS, in a nutshell, if you look at all the issues that has been brought up by either at that time, I'm talking about in the 80s and 90s up to now, at that time the issue was with municipal councils, then we had county councils, and then we've now come in where we have counties, and of course all these matters have been devolved, and I just want to come, Mr. Speaker, to the city of Nairobi. Why, Mr. Waziri, why are we not able, just as a people who are intelligent and reasonable, why are we not able to get a system which is self-sustaining, which is reasonably designed and made in such a manner like other countries do so that we can manage our garbage? Isn't it, Waziri, because many of us in this house and elsewhere are the ones who are actually the ones collecting the garbage and making billions and billions out of it, instead of setting up basic infrastructure which is available. You even have donors, there are donors who want to give us some of this infrastructure so that we set it for free. And yet, every time an idea comes about how we are going to fix the issue of garbage in Nairobi, it dies somewhere. Same way, why are we not able to have...
Kindly be specific in the question you want to ask the Honorable CS.
Can the minister tell us whether the reason why Nairobi cannot collect its garbage and manage it is because of the corruption which is endemic in our government, in our county governments, and all the government departments which are involved in this? That's why we can't move.
Honorable CS, you now may proceed to answer the questions from the various senators.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Yes, as a ministry, first of all, we've worked on the policy. We have strategies, we've had regulations that have been reviewed, which are really of international standards. But as you know, we at national level, it's all about policy. The implementers are the county level, since waste management is devolved. And one of the new regulations that we have passed, as I said earlier, was the extended producer responsibility, where the polluter pays principle. What does that mean? It means like the plastic bottles of soda. The producer must be able to see the life cycle of these plastic bottles. We should not find them in the rivers. We should not find them anywhere contaminating. So there is some money that should be given. They pay something because of the pollution. Now, these are the resources that we intend to use in order to improve waste management, and as Senator Onyonka has talked about, review the sustainability. I also want to inform the Chair of Climate that one of the things that we are also looking into is FLOCA, where we know that county governments are being given resources in order to implement FLOCA. One of the areas that they can also review is waste management. And so we'll be supporting them, guiding them in terms of establishing the material recovery facilities, and again ensuring that we are having circular economy implemented at county level. And so we've written advisories again to the counties, and we continue engaging with counties. Our meeting again is scheduled in the coming weeks, where we'll be meeting the governors to explain to them the EPR and see how we can implement. Again, one of the neglected and so-called vulnerable people are the waste pickers. And we are seeing how, again, we can incorporate them into these cooperatives so that we can ensure that there is sustainability, and we are empowering them and creating green jobs for Kenyans. So these are, again, deliberations we'll have at, with the governors. But for counties, we have the county directors routinely meeting. I believe there was a meeting 2 weeks ago where the NEMA team was able to meet them. And again, we continue supporting them even in matters of implementation. But yet again, they are the key implementers of waste management. Regarding the question of tackling residential waste management, as I had said earlier, it's really about convening the polluters. I think, behavioral practices vary in communities. We cannot say, Honorable Esther, that we can tell everyone to change their behavior, but yet again, we can talk to the polluters. And yet again, we can capacitate human resources that can support us in training, whether it's at the school level, the community level, among others, in matters of waste segregation and matters of hygiene and reduction of health risks. And so those are, again, areas that we are looking into, engaging the polluters to see how they can support in improving the behavioral practices. But ultimately, it's about having the human resource capacity. When you're talking about sustainability, the human resource that are able to ensure that the environments are clean, and this is through resources which can be found in the EPR, FLOC, and also resources that have been given to county governments. So they should be able to allocate some of the money for waste management, for establishment of material recovery facilities, for having the human resource, and implementing the rest. So the other question was Senator Muma, who asked, I think we've answered that we have strategy, regulations, and enforcement, and we have intergovernmental relations are strengthened, and we have routine meetings. We sent a Gazette notice for asbestos, that is safe removal and safe disposal of asbestos in Kenya. But then we, cognizant of the fiscal space, some have been able to do that, others, national government, counties, again, are unable. So we are engaging Treasury and to support us in allocation of resources that will support in implementation of this. Equally, we are engaging partners who can support one way or another, but step by step, we are looking into the safe removal and disposal of waste, and we again have come up with guidelines to support in implementation of the same, as well as the strategies. So the next question was regarding banning of plastics. And NEMA provides exemptions for essential uses of food packaging, but EPR, again, should deal with the authorized bags. That is the polluters. In the EPR regulations, you'll notice that we are enforcing that they need to look at the waste that is being produced in matters plastic and ensure that a waste management recycling of the same is done. We have developed a circular economy strategy, of which we are really finalizing and implementing, courtesy of partners, as well as the African Union. And upon once it has been passed, now we'll be encouraging circular economy in Kenya. So recycling of plastics will again be addressed in that area. But for the potting bags, what we are encouraging is biodegradable bags that have been meeting the standards of the Kenya Bureau of Standards. So far, we are still reviewing which one would be best suited for our environment, and again, working with the KFS and the State Department of Forestry to ensure that we move to the biodegradable bags. So far, we've not had the one that meets optimum standard. And I think if you could give us time, then we can give a comprehensive report of the bags that we have had so far. But it's something that we have tasked the foresters as well as NEMA to support in the same. For the Waste Management Council, it is being established very soon. And again, regarding the laws, we have developed model laws for the counties. And again, they should be able to use those laws. For us, is regulation and policies. The county is for implementation, since waste management is devolved. So again, it's critical to note, Senator Moses, you talked about circular economy. For us, 60% of the waste that we produce is organic waste, of which some can be utilized as fertilizer, and again, as a proportion can be used for methane production and also energy. So for waste to energy of this, the comprehensive, only 5% can be used for energy. Yeah, 5% of the waste. So conversion to energy is a limited amount. I think the focus should be mostly on fertilizers, because that incorporates 60%. And then around 30% is for plastics and recyclable materials, and only 5% is waste to energy. So based on the analysis that has been done in terms of the waste that has been produced in Kenya, then we are looking at the circular economy and what we can do in terms of recycling this waste based on that. So I think we've answered all the questions, and I highlight Senator Onyonka's question. Self-sustainability, it is all about us looking in, and it's about us looking at what we have done is the extended producer responsibility, which we believe is a sustainable solution for Kenya. And for the county government, again, to address the other issues of corruption and cartel, even as we enforce, as NEMA, the implementation of waste management. Thank you.
Honorable members, we have eaten 15 minutes into the next questions time, and therefore the responses that we've received from the Honorable CS, save for what the question by Senator Manzo on the budget, whether you have allocated on this question. I haven't heard you responding to that. I will allow you, Senator Veronica. I had closed on questions and withdrawn all the same. I've noticed that you requested after I had closed on the question supplementary to the CS. On that one, Honorable CS, when you will be responding to the next question, please respond to the question as to whether you have got any budgetary allocation in the current financial year on the question by Senator Manzo. The next, honorable members, you're going to is question 091, and Senator Mohamed Chute has authorized Senator John Yutu to ask the question. I will proceed to allow Senator John Yutu to proceed to ask question 091 on behalf of Senator Mohamed Chute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we have rightly stated, I'm standing in for Senator Chute of Marsabit County. And the question by Senator Chute, A, is could the Cabinet Secretary provide the historical background on the introduction of Prosopis juliflora, commonly known as Madenge, in Kenya, including the actors or institutions involved, and explain the ecological or policy rationale that justified the introduction of the plant. B, what is the current extent of Prosopis juliflora spread across the country, and could the Cabinet Secretary identify the most affected areas, particularly in Marsabit County, where the species reportedly covers approximately 40% of range lands? And C, what short and long-term interventions has the ministry developed to contain or eradicate Prosopis juliflora, including projected timelines budgetary allocations and multi-agency or county-level plans aimed at the restoring affected rangelands, especially in light of its 2022 classification as a national security threat? And finally, Mr. Speaker, has the ministry undertaken or reviewed any scientific assessments on the viability of Prosopis juliflora for alternative uses? And if so, what are the findings or outcomes of such initiatives, including any ongoing or planned community-based projects that align with ecological restoration? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to answer question 091.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you. So maybe to answer the question on illegal dumping first, the letter done to all counties, there was a letter done to all counties in July 2024 and a reminder sent in December 2024 about the same, and counties are adamant. So we continue to engage them for implementation. Regarding the budget, yes, we have inadequate budget to support NEMA operations in matters monitoring, evaluation, and inspection of site. Again, it's an area that we would want to advocate for to ensure that we are working on. So regarding the question on Prosopis juliflora, Honorable Speaker, the genus Prosopis belongs to the family Leguminosae, specifically the subfamily Mimosoidae. The genus has 4 genera and 44 species and several varieties, of which 40, including Prosopis pallida, are native to the American, mainly South American. In contrast, 1 is native to Africa, Prosopis africana, and 3 are native to Asia, Prosopis cineraria, Prosopis facta, and Prosopis coelziana. Honorable Speaker, Prosopis pallida was first introduced into Kenya in 1948 by the colonial government workers and planted in Taveta Township. It was a popular species and was widely planted in the larger Taveta County, then Taita Taveta District, and other parts of arid and semi-arid areas of Kenya, mostly in the 1960s to 1980s. The species is non-invasive and exhibits good stem.
Senate Majority Leader, Senator Nyutu, Senator Cherargei, order please. Allow the CS to be heard in silence.
Good stem forms and other growth characteristics, but slower growth rate. There is no clear documentation regarding the introduction of Prosopis juliflora into the country. It is suspected that it could have been due to taxonomic confusion with Prosopis pallida and Prosopis juliflora. The fast growth of Prosopis juliflora and adaptability to dry conditions made it more popular to communities in most of the 1980s and 1990s, where it was widely introduced to many districts such as Turkana, Baringo, Isiolo, Marsabit, Garissa, Tana River, Taita Taveta, Kajiado, Kilifi, Mombasa, Wajir, and Mandera, among others. Honorable Speaker, the El Nino weather phenomena of 1997 and 1998 led to the population explosion by Prosopis juliflora in all areas where it has been planted, thus making its invasive tendency visible for the first time in Kenya and Eastern Africa. The species has since invaded wetlands, grazing areas, irrigation schemes, and other areas of high conservation value, thus displacing pastoral communities over wide areas and other land use systems, causing poverty and helplessness. Regarding question B, to identify the most affected areas, Honorable Speaker, the most recent assessment of Prosopis juliflora cover is estimated at 1.12 million hectares in 22 counties. Turkana County is the largest, estimated at 361,000 hectares, while Marsabit has a Prosopis cover of 142,000 hectares. The most affected areas of Marsabit County are Loglogo, Moyale, Loyangalani, Maikona, Kor, North Hor, Malabot, Martidorop, and South Hor, among others. This is Annex 1. So, Regarding the short and long-term interventions, Honorable Speaker, the ministry began responding to Prosopis challenge by jointly undertaking baseline studies between 2000 and 2002 to determine the status and the impact of the species in Kenya. A major output of the study was the first national workshop on integrated management and control of Prosopis species 2003 that led to the formation of the first national Prosopis task force in 2004, which was later transformed into a steering committee for the first pilot project on integrated management and control of Prosopis in Kenya. Baringo was used as a pilot site between 2005 and 2008. Members were drawn from key government ministries, environment, agriculture, livestock, education, including universities, lands, and international agencies such as WWF, CABI, ICRAF, UNEP, UNDP, and FAO, and several NGOs and CBOs. Representatives of the 6 affected counties, then districts, were also included, namely Baringo, Garissa, Mandera, Tana River, Turkana, and Taita Taveta. Honorable Speaker, the government is undertaking the following initiatives in the management of Prosopis species. For short-term interventions in 1999 to 2001, we conducted a national survey to determine the status and impact of Prosopis species on livelihood and environment. The first sensitization workshop at the national level on integrated management and control of Prosopis species was held in October 2003, and followed by a second one in 2007 and a third one in 2015. Several others at the county level in all the affected counties have been carried out in 2016 to 2024. Between 2004 and 2006, the government secured technical support from development partners such as FAO to undertake a pilot integrated management and control of Prosopis. Activities included mechanical control through thinning and pruning, killing stumps, producing various products, and biological control. Expanded Prosopis management skills from Baringo to other affected counties, starting with the most impacted such as Turkana, Garissa, and Tana River. And in 2009, piloted the production and marketing of Prosopis charcoal in Garissa, Tana River, and Baringo counties, leading to the formation of Charcoal Producer Association. Again, the activities included facilitation of the formation of Charcoal Producer Association in affected counties to support sustainable production and trade in Prosopis charcoal. Existing associations include Tana River, Baringo, Garissa, Kajiado, among others, annexed to. Strengthened community capacity to manage Prosopis spread through training, field days, exposure visits, and the establishment of East Africa Center of Excellence in Prosopis research in Marigat. And developed value chains on Prosopis utilization in sawn timber, animal feeds, and human foods, biomass, energy, construction poles, charcoal, biocar, briquettes, wood, carvings, and honey production, among others. Charcoal production is the most popular value chain, which is estimated with an estimated annual value of 54 billion. In financial year 2024 to 2025, a draft Prosopis strategy was developed through a series of workshops and meetings involving the larger stakeholders, including the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Devolution, Office of the Attorney General, and the Ministry of Interior. And it is now in the process of being finalized by end of financial year 25-26 by the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry in 2025. The list of activities have been annexed 3. The long-term interventions in financial year 2024-25, a draft national Prosopis strategy and action plan 2025 to 2035 has been developed through a series of workshops and meetings involving the larger stakeholders, including the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Devolution, Office of Attorney General, and the Ministry of Interior, FAO, ICRAF, Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International, that is CABI, Council of Governors, and community associations. It is now in the process of being finalized by end of financial year 25-26 by the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry in 2025. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry has also facilitated the interim piloting of the National Prosopis Strategy through the development of the County Prosopis Spatial Management Plans in Baringo, Isiolo, Marsabit, and Tana River counties. The County Prosopis Management Plan aims at confining the invasion from further spreading while clearing invasion around key community assets that are endangered by the invasions. These include grazing areas, irrigation schemes, roads, livestock, watering points, and areas of high conservation values. The cleared areas are restored using pasture seeds or grass, cropping where irrigation is possible, and growing multipurpose trees to prevent reinvasion of prosopis. The county prosopis management plans for other affected counties such as Turkana, Samburu, Garissa, Kilifi, Kajiado, Taita Taveta, Wajir, Mandera, among others, will be developed as soon as the National Prosopis Strategy is formally launched. Regarding alternative uses, Honorable Speaker, yes, the Ministry reviewed the scientific assessment on the viability of Prosopis juliflora for alternative uses, and the findings demonstrate a significant value in various areas. They include fuel wood, where Prosopis wood is an excellent source of firewood, offering a readily available energy option. Charcoal, where Prosopis charcoal has a high calorific value, ranging from 7.7 to 7.8 kilocalories, making it an efficient fuel source. The charcoal can also be processed into briquettes, providing a cleaner and more sustainable energy alternative. For commercial energy, the wood can be chipped and used for industrial steam, for electric power generation, and other heating needs. With the right technology, the species has potential for commercial exploitation for power generation. A Prosopis-based power generation plant using gasification technology was established in Baringo County in 2015, but failed at the piloting stage due to the impurity of the gas produced, that is methane. The investor overlooked the technical guidance required to remove impurities associated with high levels of tannins and other chemicals in Prosopis biomass. Briquettes and biocam, these two products can be produced from two processes as a byproduct of charcoal and commercial energy production, and from carbonizing the small diameter trees, twigs, and branches where Prosopis is being eradicated by mechanical means. The carbonized materials can be reconstituted into briquettes for fuel or used as biocam for soil conditioning and carbon storage. Construction materials. The strong and durable wood of Prosopis can be used for various building materials, including fence posts, construction poles, and furniture. Communities can utilize Prosopis wood for constructing shelters and fences. Prosopis produces very nutritious pods with high contents of proteins, carbohydrates, or sugars, and minerals that can be a viable substitute for cereals as raw materials for the commercial production of livestock feeds. Prosopis pods are also edible by humans and do not have any anti-nutritional attributes. Milled Prosopis-based pod meal can be mixed with wheat at a proportion of 1:3 and baked to produce cakes, mandazis, and chapatis. Prosopis trees are evergreen and flower twice every year. Its flowers are very rich in nectar, and the honey produced is of high quality. However, the super high levels of sugar lead to frequent crystallization of honey, thus making it appear adulterated. Ongoing or planned community projects that align with ecological restoration, Honorable Speaker. There is ongoing capacity development of registered charcoal producer association in management and sustainable utilization of Prosopis tree biomass. This includes the introduction of modern charcoal making technologies to reduce gas emission and land restoration methods, among others. Through the framework of collaboration with partners, there are ongoing activities geared towards rehabilitation of degraded landscapes affected by prosopis through the rollout of the County Prosopis Management Plan. The National Landscape and Ecosystem Restoration Strategy of 2023 to 2032, which underpins the 15 billion tree growing initiative, incorporates management and control of the spread of prosopis, green jobs on prosopis clearing and value addition of wood and non-wood product creation by the ILO-supported community projects which are being implemented in Turkana, Garissa, Tana River counties annexed form. The ministry and partners are also implementing other projects that are partly addressing the management of Prosopis juliflora in some of the affected counties. These include the FLOCA and the KEWASIP, that is Kenya Watershed Service Improvement Project, among others. Honorable Speaker, I submit.
Thank you, Madam CS. I will now allow 2 supplementary questions from Senator Joe Newton, if you do have, and thereafter the members who requested to ask supplementary questions will be given that opportunity. Senator Newton.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As you had communicated, these are questions that came from the Senator for Marsabit, Senator Chute. I may not have a very good understanding of Prosopis juliflora, but could the Cabinet Secretary say something about water hyacinth, because that's also another type of plant that is affecting our water bodies, and I believe it's under her ministry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Veronica Maina.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I hope you will, with your permission, you'll indulge me to ask the question that I needed the CS to clarify on an issue she raised on the ministry search for a biodegradable bag in replacement of the plastic bags. And I wanted to know, because a very crucial question, whether the ministry has considered the alternative of encouraging and promoting the use of weaved baskets, weaved bags as an alternative for the plastic bags, even as you search for the biodegradable option of the biodegradable bags, so that the ministry can enhance an approach that then helps in creative industry and creates jobs in the course of searching for those bags, which then will go to the cottage industries, as opposed to concentrating with use of biodegradable bags, which may be produced by only one big factory. You can channel that energy and those resources towards generating employment, income, earning employment in counties like Murang'a, counties like Kitui, Makueni, where baskets are weaved, counties like Turkana. What is the approach that the ministry is taking towards that?
Senator Catherine Moma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'll request you indulge me to ask 2 questions since the supplementary questions did not come. Honorable CS, your answer is confusing to Kenyans. On the one hand, you say that there is a strategy on management and control of Prosopis juliflora, the Madenge plant, and then on the other hand, you've given a litany of the value of this plant, suggesting it is a good plant. CS, this plant, since introduction, I didn't hear you say the mess that it has caused in terms of the health of humans. When the thorns of the Madenge plant prick any human being, the wounds get inflamed so much, even to the animals. It has caused a lot of chaos, and I did not hear you speak to that bit. And the reason this question was put is actually because the communities do not see the value. And also, all the things that you said, the good things, are not happening in any of these counties. All that production is not happening in any of these counties. Madam CS, from 1999, it is 26 years since the environmental impact assessment was done, during Moi's time. I would have wanted to hear why the report of that environmental impact assessment is not being implemented 26 years later. And if you're doing something about it, I would have wanted to hear that in our time plan, we are intending to clear the Madenge plant by this time, following the following program. I have not heard that. Kenyans from those counties will not be clear on what exactly you're doing to actually manage, control, or eliminate the Madenge plant, which is causing chaos in those counties. Can you give a real timeline-related answer on what you are actually doing to ensure that the Madenge plant is moved away?
Senator Manzo.
Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the CS whether the Madenge tree is a scientifically manufactured tree, and if so, what are they going to do to eliminate it? Luckily, I've not seen it in Makueni, but I know when animals eat it, Mr. Speaker, they lose their teeth. So is this scientifically manufactured, or is it a natural tree, and what are they going to do to eliminate it?
Madam CS, you may take the floor to respond to those supplementary questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. So regarding the hyacinth, I kindly request that we convene the team to review and give a comprehensive report, as has been given for prosopis. For Senator Minor, you talked about biodegradable bags, and we really appreciate your observation with regards to this. We also welcome all options, including the cottage, the weaving, among others. As I had said, research is ongoing to see which is the best in terms of acting as a seedling, and that, again, after planting, that is biodegradable at the right time. And so we are welcoming all these options as the ministry looks at and evaluates the various potting bags. Senator Muma, yes, for prosopis, first of all, it's important to note that it was introduced to address desertification. But while addressing desertification, what we've noticed is that the invasion has increased, and it's proliferating and affecting various areas. So getting rid of it absolutely will again reintroduce deserts within our country. And so what we are doing is really managing it, looking at the commercial value and managing so that it does not spread. Yes, indeed, Senator Manzu, a lot of scientific research has been conducted. Some of the research looks into utilization of pests or insects to manage it. However, you know, this can again have a ripple effect. So we need to be careful even as we look at management. Right now, what has worked is what we had talked about, the pruning, among others, controlling and managing the prosopis. As we look at the commercial value and improve the value chains, and also improve communities and livelihoods by utilizing the same. So again, we are looking at reviewing other scientific interventions which can be contextualized to our setting without affecting the environment.
Yes, Senator Manzo.
I've asked whether it is a natural tree or scientifically manufactured tree.
Madam CS.
Yes, Senator Manzu, it is a natural tree.
You've heard the CS responded as to the question by Senator Manzo. Do you have a specific timeline, Madam CS, on what action plans you have as a ministry in response to the question by Senator Muma?
Yes, we will have that by October.
Very well. Thank you, Madam CS. I think that brings us to a close of the question time and questions to the Honorable CS. That was question 091 by Senator Joe Chute. And Madam CS and your team, thank you for honoring the invite and for the responses that we have gotten. You are now discharged, and we wish you a great afternoon. Honorable members, now with that closure on the questions, clerk. Senator Veronica Mena, could you approach the chair? Honorable Senators, for the convenience of the business of the House, I will rearrange the order paper so that we call order number 11. Clerk, please call out order number 11.
Order number 11, motion, report of the Parliamentary Delegation to the 2024 Joint United Nations Interparliamentary Union Parliamentary Hearing held at the United Nations headquarters in New York, United States of America from 8th to 9th February 2024.
Senator Veronica Maina.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to move the House to present the report of the Parliamentary Delegation to the 2024 Joint United Nations Interparliamentary Union hearing at the United Nations headquarters at New York, United States of America, that was held on 8th to 9th of February 2024. Honorable Speaker, we live in a world where conflicts within and between the countries are on the rise, resulting in suffering and deprivation for millions of people, as well as a deep sense of uncertainty in the future, particularly among young people. And today, we are compelled more than ever to act urgently to restore the conditions for peace, social justice, good governance, and respect for international law. And this situation must be the one that drove the gathering that joined the Joint United Nations and the Interparliamentary Union IPU 2024 parliamentary hearing that was held under the theme Putting an End to Conflicts, Prescriptions for a Peaceful Future at the United Nations UN headquarters in New York on 8th and 9th of February 2024. And the hearing, Honorable Speaker, called IPU member parliaments to acquaint themselves with one of the priorities for the current presidency of the UN General Assembly, peace, as well as the IPU priority focus in 2024 on international peace and security. The Kenyan delegation to this meeting comprised of the following: myself, Senator Veronica Maina, Member of Parliament and Leader of Delegation; Honorable John Makali, Member of Parliament; and Honorable Anne Muratha, Member of Parliament from the National Assembly. The hearing sought to bring parliamentarians up to speed with one of the key components of the Pact for the Future, the expected outcome document of September 2024 UN Summit of the Future. This hearing was inspired by the resolution Rethinking and Reframing the Approach to Peace Processes with a View to Fostering Lasting Peace, adopted by the 144th IPU Assembly in March 2022, as well as the follow-up to the United Nations Our Common Agenda report, including one of the UN Secretary General's policy briefs on the proposal for the new agenda for peace. The hearing was an opportunity for parliamentarians to take stock of what ails the world today and the respective nations, and to commit to actionable solutions for the international community and national actors, and to bring to light some of the recommendations that were developed within this conference, parliaments to develop or domesticate international treaties, standards to guide the responsible use of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies in military and security contexts. This should include measures for transparency, accountability, and protection of civilians. Parliamentarians also to advocate that a significant portion of climate finance reaches the most vulnerable countries and communities, while integrating climate security into international peace and security agenda to address the root causes of climate-related conflicts, and also parliamentarians to advocate for their countries to establish concrete measures such as reserved seats and transparent selection criteria to ensure the meaningful participation of women and youth in peace negotiations, and additionally to support civil society organizations, particularly those advocating for women and youth rights, with adequate funds and resources, and also to encourage parliaments to leverage their diplomatic channels to build trust and facilitate dialogue in conflict regions, foster regular engagement with international parliamentary organizations, and support initiatives that promote peace and conflict resolution, and also to advocate for the adoption and implementation of the proposal outlined in the new Agenda for Peace at the 2024 Summit of the Future, focus on reforming global governance structures, particularly the UN Security Council, to make them more representative and effective in addressing contemporary security challenges, and also to urge the inclusion of parliaments as key institutions under the forming global governance chapter of the Pact for the Future, and Parliament should actively engage their missions to the UN to ensure this inclusion as part of their negotiation, emphasizing the critical role they play in addressing contemporary global challenges. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the delegation that attended to this important activity, I wish to take this opportunity to thank you for the support of ensuring that Kenya was duly and very ably represented at this meeting. Honorable Speaker, Article 7 of the IPU statutes mandates members of the IPU to submit the resolutions of the IPU within their respective parliament in the most appropriate form to communicate them to the government, to stimulate their implementation, and to inform the IPU Secretariat as often and fully as possible, particularly in its annual reports of the steps taken and results obtained. Now, in accordance with Article 7 of the Statutes of the IPU, it's my pleasure and very humble duty to submit this report highlighting the full discussions of the joint United Nations, UN, and the Interparliamentary Union IPU 2024 parliamentary hearing to Parliament for noting and for taking the necessary action. Let me also take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to commend the then Ambassador Kiboino, who received the Kenyan delegation very well, and he was at advanced stages of negotiating the country's position on the new agenda for peace, and to say that he welcomed the delegation very well and was able to brief and support the delegation throughout the process that we had, Honorable Speaker. And some of the other key points that I would want to highlight that were subject of discussion during this process was the financing for peace building, enhancing the role of Peace Building Commission, reforming the global peace and security architecture, looking for good offices, mediation for nuclear armed states, building peace and capabilities from the ground up, managing diversity in state building and peace building, disengagement and reintegration of violent extremism, peer review mechanism for conflict prevention and transition, strengthening regional organizations that then support in maintaining of international peace and security, developing standards for new technology, where the mission proposed the development of a UN-driven treaty, all standards to guide the responsible use of artificial intelligence in military and security applications, and this would ensure transparency, accountability, and protection of civilian, effective implementation of disarmament instruments. The mission urged the implementation of existing disarmament treaties and obligations to achieve the total elimination of nuclear weapons. He called on nuclear weapon states to adopt new security doctrines devoid of nuclear weapons and calibrated application of sanctions, which was a call for smart, objective, targeted, and context-specific sanctions that avoid unintended socioeconomic and humanitarian consequences, and also emphasizing on the need for review to ensure effectiveness of sanctions and minimize adverse impact. Honorable Speaker, to consider the future of peace and security, the good intentions of implementing such a report are very critical for Parliament, and it's my very humble duty and pleasure, Honorable Speaker, to present this report, submit it. It will be available for the members for its full content and application of the full text. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Veronica, just
and so I move the report. Thank you.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I rise to second the motion by Senator Veronica Maina, let me first begin by appreciating and commending the delegation that attended this particular high-level IPU meeting. Mr. Speaker, personally, I am also a member of IPU, and we recently just came from if my mind serves me right, Uzbekistan in Tashkent for a high-level discussion, Mr. Speaker, on parliamentary action to social development and justice, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you notice the conversations that IPU undertakes, Mr. Speaker, these are fairly high-level conversations. They are thematic areas that as leaders, as politicians, as individuals, we are not able to individually legislate upon. And it's incumbent that when we attend this session, Mr. Speaker, it's not just for the idea of traveling out of the country, Mr. Speaker, but to go discuss and get much more detailed information on very many other areas in terms of the topical agenda and setting global peace and security as part of our agenda in the country, Mr. Speaker. Let me really applaud the delegation from Kenya for a job well done. And I know the report has serious contents. I want to take this chance to appeal to my colleague senators to take a minute and read that particular report. It is very informative. The discussions that go on in IPU, Mr. Speaker, mind-blogging and set the stage towards legislating on matters that have a global effect and the agenda on our people. For those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I now propose the question that the Senate notes the report of the Parliamentary Delegation to the 2024 Joint United Nations Inter-Parliamentary Union Parliamentary hearing held at the United Nations headquarters in New York, United States of America on 8th to 9th February 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 17th of September 2024. Now, honorable members, there seems to be no one seeking to Honorable members, I've noted that there are no members who are contributing. I'll call upon the mover, Senator Veronica, to reply and seek to defer the putting of the question to a later date.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to reply, and I want to thank Senator Chimera for the opportunity he has taken to second this report. Matters of peace are very crucial, and it is important when we see that Senator Chimera, in seconding this report, also represents the youth in this nation. And Honorable Speaker, we cannot talk of any peace or any security for the future without mentioning the youth. In fact, the future of peace, security, and stable communities and stable nations is in the hands of the youths. And at this crucial time in the Republic of Kenya, these reports become a focal point which should be read by everybody, even beyond the senators who are within the House. The youths must be able to engage with the processes that are being done at a global level, at a continental level, at a regional level, at a local level, even up to mashinani. Because without versing themselves with the efforts that are being made worldwide and globally to secure the peace, our future will be at risk, Honorable Speaker. So I want to thank Senator Chimera and the team, the delegation that represented our nation ably at the United Nations. And I want to say, I beg to reply and pray that we all maintain peace in our republic, and know that without peace, there is nothing that can be done to foster development in our nation. I beg to reply. And I request that, Honorable Speaker, that the question be deferred to a later date.
Honorable
Putting
Senators,
of the question be deferred to a later date.
Putting of the question on this matter is deferred, pursuant to Standing Order 66, to a later date. Honorable Senators, order number 8, Senator Mandago, who is the chairperson of Health. This is report on the Standing Committee on Health. He is not in the House. That motion is deferred. Order number 9, similarly, the chairperson Standing Committee on Health is also absent. That motion is deferred. Order number 10, the chairperson liaison committee is also absent. That motion is deferred. Order number 12, the chairperson parliamentarians dialogue at the Parliamentary Climate Caucus is also absent. That motion is deferred. Order number 13, Senator Catherine Muma is not present in the House. That motion is equally deferred. And lastly, order number 14, motion on the 67th Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. Senator Jackson Mandago, who was the mover, is also absent. That order is equally deferred. We now may rise. Now, Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until later today, Wednesday, 23rd of July, 2025, at 2:30 p.m.